snack. So the gourd is a pitchfork. And then the purple here is frost damage. And that's Hi, good morning guys. Laura here from Hedgehog's Homestead. I'm gonna do a little seed collecting, my sister-in-law. Let me get this a little brighter in here. Kind of dark in here today. I think we got some rain coming, which is great for our rain catchment system. First, I'm gonna cut up some pumpkins. I'll show you here. Save the flesh of these. These are pumpkins and gourds in that category, but I do want to save the seeds because I like to grow decorative pumpkins. We'll do a couple of these too, the bigger ones, and we will save the seeds. And see, aren't these kind of cool or ugly? You know that somebody paid $5 for this? So if we can grow them and sell them, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah. So I'm going to save the seeds from these.
Yeah.
And we'll grow them. And they can always be fed to animals if we don't care for them. So that's why my sister-in-law gave these to us. These are little...
ugly.
Yeah, they are pretty ugly. This one's
interesting though, I guess.
very warty. And the warts are soft on this one. I don't know if it's just because it's aged or what.
They're full of pus, probably.
So I'm like a pimple.
Squeeze them.
Right.
I gotta get to work.
Okay.
Time for this.
Okay, I'll be out there in a little bit, but I'm gonna cut these open, hun, and we're gonna save the seeds for next year. So.
Okay.
Okay. Some fun stuff, along with maybe something we can make a little money at the farmer's market. Okay. I don't know if these are heirloom seeds or what, but pigs are going to get a snack. So the gourds part of this is not going to go to waste by any means. These are a nice large seeds, which are great to see. So they're fully developed. Okay. So I'm not going to take all of the seeds out of here because I do want my pigs to have some of the seeds, because the seeds are great for any seeds in the pumpkin family are great for deworming. So for your animals. So they can crack that open themselves, but now they don't have to. On that one, I will just say like warted pumpkin or something. Now I have this fun variety that I paid like $1 for. And I used it for decoration. This one's really hard to cut into. Let's try this one first. I'm betting this one is a lot older. So I'm going to label the round one warted round, and then this one will be warted something or other. Warted star or something like that. Now I got these from my sister-in-law who bought them for decoration, and she knows I like to save seeds. So now these are a lot smaller, but they're still, you can tell that they have the innards in them. So and I have other varieties in here too that I'm going to be doing this with. See, there's one that's warted but not in that funny way. And then these are really super cute. And then I have a big one that I'm probably going to can. And then there's one that's got different colors on it down there that I will do this with too, but I'm not going to do it all in one day. There we go. Now this one, oh, the seeds. I think I'm just going to mix these little seeds in here. Lowe's and those kind of stores, you can actually find a lot of this fancy pumpkins in your seed store now, in the seed aisle. And pumpkins are really easy to grow. So if you're not a big gardener, it's a good plant to start off with because, you know, it's just pretty easy to grow. So, well, I'm going to feed those to the pigs. Why don't you guys come along and we'll feed them. Hi, piggy piggies. Mama brought you a snack. There you go. Those are some happy pigs. They like their pumpkin. Now you do have to watch it if your pumpkins are cross-pollinated. Because what happens if they cross-pollinate, they can be poisonous. So we do watch it with that, but these are just fine. They will eat up all this pumpkin and they will eat the seeds. So, oh, pig. Oh, pig. Yeah. Make that pumpkin into bacon. Rinsed off, and then you want to dry them out really good. And then next year you can plant them in the spring. So guys, what I'm working on today is just as simple as it gets compost structure. Easy as it gets. I'm using an old piece of fence that I had. I'm just going to tie it together with rope, not even any zip ties. Rope that, this is from hay or straw that we've received. I'm just cutting it off in chunks, and I want something that I can throw away later, or cut. So zip ties are ideal for this, but I don't have any, and I'm not going to go to the store and buy some. When I have this to work with, and it works fine. So I have all this compost, and I have compost over there, and I kind of have compost piles all over my garden, where I've just kind of started a mound, and then done stuff like that. And we want to compost some of the pig when we are doing that. So, oops, I didn't cut that all the way. So that's why I am doing this, so I can compost the pig as well. And I'm just kind of sick of having mounds everywhere in my garden. I want it to look a little neater. I did this in Oregon the first time, and it worked really well, but this pile is composting down. What I have in my pile, you can see white stuff in here, that's paper. There's tissue paper, there is not toilet paper, but there's brown papers, there's food waste, there is dog hair, my vacuum stuff goes in here, my lint goes in here, eggshells, coffee grounds, banana peels, all of that stuff. And we just kind of have, oh, and there's barn waste in there. We just kind of do whatever. There's feathers in there from when we processed the chickens. There is chicken bones in there. There is other bones if we have them. There is when we processed our chicken, all the stuff that we didn't want got thrown in there. All of that good stuff. We don't want to waste anything here on the homesteads. And when we process our pigs, we want the bones. We want all that. Either we can make broth with it, with the bones, or we can put it, cook it down really good, and then throw it into the, well, you can make broth with it and still throw it into your compost, the bones afterwards. So you're getting whatever you need out of the broth, so you get that good bone broth to drink, plus you're adding that calcium to your garden. So, okay, so I'm just going to start. I know this isn't a perfect round or anything. That's okay. Try to pull it into a little more of a round. And I'm just going to set it here and start filling it up. And the best tool for compost is a pitchfork. There's some eggshells laying right here. Okay, so let's start doing it. So half of this is kind of processed. There's a little bit of everything in here. Turkey feathers from when we processed our turkeys. Green tomatoes, because I didn't bring all of them in the house. Carrot peels, everything from the kitchen. Now, the nice thing about this structure is it breathes well. And it's easy to take off, so I can turn it really easy. And it's easy to make. And I found myself just, when I have it in a pile, I don't want to turn it, I don't want to do anything to it. This, if I turn it like every other week or so, it can break down very quickly. Because I was having compost piles in here, and they weren't breaking down because they were just in a pile, and it's a very slow way of composting. Now, I've been turning it recently because I got a pitchfork, and a pitchfork does make a huge difference, guys. Because it goes through the pile, unlike, there's a nice big bone in there. You could boil those down and then crunch them. You got a good blender, but we don't have that, so we don't do that. So we just let them break down, and they will over time. You can see how this is stuff that is breaking down, but it will break down a lot faster if I keep on. You can see our tissue paper in there. This is paper towels. Yeah, it is better if you buy the organic paper towels, but I'm trying to get, some of this stuff is moist, some of this stuff is older. So I'm trying to get the older mixed with the younger stuff. And there is going to be like a little organic layer on the bottom of this. I'm going to use that, sweep that up and use that in the asparagus garden space. So there's an old plant that goes in there. Cover that with some newer stuff or some older stuff. There's a nice turkey. I don't know, I think that's a turkey bone. Yeah. I'm probably going to have a couple piles here once I'm done, because I'm going to take those old piles and stack them up too. This is the paper that comes out of your box when you get something from Amazon. That can go in there. Newspapers, any box. A lot of people will say boxes aren't good. Well, take off the tape and take off, don't put any boxes that have the glossy surface on it. And this is a lot more sustainable than buying compost. And frankly, we can't afford to buy it, so we have to make it. I don't put anything in here that has like blight or anything like that. Some more bones. What I like about this, it keeps it in, but it lets a lot of air get to it. While I am doing this, I'm going to finish cleaning up this, and then it's that time of year where my asparagus is kind of, well, been chewed on by deer. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down, and I'm going to put the remainder of, since there's really no seed in here, the remainder of this in the compost bin, and then I'm going to add a layer of compost to my asparagus, and that's kind of how you put it to bed for the winter. But we've had a lot of deer coming out here, and that's why the electric fence. Hopefully, I mean, they can get over it, but just to deter them a little bit. So we'll cut this down and get some compost on it. So today the chores I got done, I got this area cleaned up, the compost in there. This is an old compost pile that I'm working on putting in the beds. And see an old chicken bone there. And the asparagus is cut off. I need to actually get some better scissors and cut them down just a little bit further. But compost put in there. And then this is actually a compost pile that's been covered with grass that's dying on it, and that's fine. So I started putting compost in this bed. I'll spread that out next time I come out into the garden, and that's an old compost pile that I'm working on. That's what I meant. I had piles of compost everywhere. So I'm gonna take that compost, and this is what it looks like. next time, so I'll spread more compost and we'll take care of these trellises that, you know, because we're not going to grow tomatoes in the same space. So I want to put these trellises somewhere else. So, and that trellis needs to come down too. And all the little strings and all the junk, I need to pick that up. But I need to put my cloth away. This is frost cloth that I had over my broccoli and cabbage. And so I still need to keep that on. And we have more broccoli coming up. It's going to rain for 3 days and be in the 50s. So I'm expecting this broccoli to kind of take off. Hopefully the other heads won't be like this. And I'm already getting little heads on here where I cut this piece of broccoli off. But you can see this is wind damage, and then the purple here is frost damage. And that's what it does to your heads of broccoli too. You can see that head's a little purple, and that one too. And then the other heads over here as well. They have a little purple hue to them. And unfortunately, that's a bitter head. So it's not the best tasting broccoli. But it got down to 14 degrees, and that's what happens as you get that damage. They're frost hardy, but they can only handle it, you know, to a certain temp. We are getting some nice cabbage heads on us, or for cabbages on this side. This one's really damaged, so I might just cut these and feed them to the pigs, and then hopefully we'll still get some more like side shoots. Like over here we have some healthy side shoots there, and that should be okay. Go wash my hands and help Chris out. I got nasty dirty hands from handling the compost. So when that compost bin is full, I'll put one right next to it and we'll start filling it up. And if we do pigs, what I'll do is we'll put wood chips all around whatever carcass. You can put wood chips and cardboard around that carcass to help it break out. The carcass will be the wood chips and the cardboard would be your nitrogen, or your browns, and of course the pig, whatever the pig is, that will be your hot stuff. So it will break down nicely if you do that.